Welcome back to Business Live. Apologies, we had a bit of a technical problem, but that is resolved. We want to begin tonight with some breaking news. The Bank of Ghana has revoked the licenses of 192 insolvent microfinance companies with effect from today. In addition, licenses of another 155 insolvent microfinance companies that have ceased operations have been revoked. We're also hearing news that 39 microcredit institutions have also had their licenses revoked. Now, the Bank of Ghana in a statement said it has consequently appointed Eric Nipa as receiver for the specified institutions in line with this regulation. So you're there seeing right now the statement from the central bank to the effect that it has, with effect from today, revoked the licenses of 192 insolvent microfinance institutions. In the second paragraph, it says the revocation of the licenses of these institutions is to get rid of insolvent and dormant institutions that have no reasonable prospects of rehabilitation and have denied depositors access to their deposits, thereby constituting a threat to the stability of the financial system. We want to speak right now to my colleague Philip Namfori, who has been reading through the statement himself. Philip, good afternoon to you. So the Bank of Ghana making good on its promise to sanitize the microfinance sector, Philip?
Yes, Darren, thank you very much. Yeah, it seems so. And yet again, another Friday, Bank of Ghana decides to release information on financial services providers, particularly non-bank institutions or non-bank financial institutions. And yes, as the governor said from last year, after the cleanup of the banking sector was done, it was expected that they would look to the non-bank financial sector, the savings and loans, microfinance, and microcredit companies. And so, after this, yes, today, this is what the Bank of Ghana has done. Darryl.
Okay, so we know that the Bank of Ghana has settled on Eric Nipa as the receiver as it tries to, clean up the system. Does it propose the way forward in the statement?
Yes, now if you look through the statement, Bank of Ghana, in line with the Bank and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act, that's Act 930, says it appointed Mr. Eric Nipa as a receiver for the specified institutions in line with Section 123 of the Act I just mentioned. And I'm sure as the days go by, just as we saw in the banking sector, we should see a similar fashion when it comes to the receivership of these insolvent institutions or institutions which have had their licenses revoked.
Okay, and so are there any assurances to depositors? Anytime there's such an announcement, people begin to get worried, assuming they had funds with these microfinance institutions.
Yes, Darryl, in the last part of the press statement, or the press release, Bank of Ghana says, and I'm told, the Bank of Ghana assured the public of its continued commitment to protecting depositors' funds and promoting the stability of the financial system. But I must add here that with regards to this, there's always the communication part of it. We were well aware of the fact the Bank of Ghana said yes, they were going to clean up the microfinance institutions. And even at the recent Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the governor stated that they will have to take some time in doing this. And here we have again on a Friday, Bank of Ghana dropping heavy on these financial institutions. I must say that yes, with the information, they have done well. But the manner in which it's released sometimes needs to be looked at, because we have a lot of people in this sector. And as you well know, Darryl, microfinance focuses on the pro-poor or the low-income earners. So in examining banking sector customers, we have to look at how we can examine non-bank financial institution customers or pro-poor, as microfinance was established back in the days of Professor Mohamed Yunus to solve the problems of the poor. So yes, the information has come out, but I'd have preferred some notice even before this notice, in my personal opinion. Darryl.
About whether or not this is going to boost confidence in the sector, because we know that the central bank is taking up this action because it wants to sanitize the sector, but at the same time people are becoming a bit jittery because of concerns they have with their funds. So there you see on your screens a tall list of companies that have been affected by this. I'm sure that they had customers who were pumping monies into those organizations. What kind of effect does this have in terms of confidence in the financial sector?
Okay, Darryl, initially there is always some bit of panic, and if customers or consumers of financial services are not well informed and are patient, they might decide to have a bit of a negative reaction, if I may say so. So it wouldn't be out of place in these early days to find some customers wondering what exactly is going on. But again, with this comes the long-term effect of the confidence. So in the short term, we see some instability, if I may say so. But in the long term, we should see a correction of these instabilities and a boosting of confidence in the financial services industry.
Okay, stay with me a little while longer, Philip. I want you to listen to the president of the Ghana Microfinance Institutions Network, JoyNews, who spoke to us earlier this week. I don't know whether he anticipated this announcement we made today. He expressed confidence about investors' funds that may be lost as a result of the cleanup. Listen.
It will be to sort out the deposit of clients and not necessarily investors. And especially those who have done some level of investment that in the sector to some extent were not even acceptable. Now, for instance, people accept hard and foreign currency as deposits into this business. Largely, we are not supposed to do that. Those ones, and I know there are pending cases that the central bank is even trying to deal with. Now, those issues, I don't know how we'll tackle that. And I think in our conversation, that hasn't come in at all.
But have you raised it as an association yourself?
We've done that. And then even we've gone to the extent that some that had their deposit with some of these financial commercial banks, all those issues we've raised it, and I have a strong belief that yes, those people will get their money, but before they get the money, they may be out of the business. Yeah.
So are you going to propose or suggest that the Bank of Ghana set up a specific fund for your investors or people who may genuinely have invested, but as a result of this, they have lost their money or something?
I think from business perspective, it's really tough call to do that. Tough in the sense that you see, these businesses are contractual business decisions between individuals and respective institutions, and usually this is not the time you use public funds to settle some of these things. So it's a difficult thing, and I believe that it's not just microfinance alone. All the financial settings that we have in the country that have collapsed, what do you do to all those things? And so genuinely there's a level to which government can come in. But it's not every aspect that the government can actually come in and settle it out. Yeah. But as you rightly said, if there's a way out, why not? If it's possible to pay even investors who have invested in the system, why not? Yeah.
Has the Bank of Ghana confirmed to you that the funds have been released from the Ministry of Finance?
In fact, we've heard the announcement, but we are yet to confirm. And even the confirmation officially, unless it's written to us. We usually make an inquiry whether it's true, when is it happening and all that. But unless we get confirmation from the central bank in writing, we cannot just say yes, even though we've all heard in the news that money has been deposited ready for the action to take place. I think one other aspect is that, yes, we know this thing will happen, but the form and nature of it, nobody knows.
All right, so that was president of the Ghana Microfinance Institutions Network speaking to us ahead of this announcement, this major announcement by the Bank of Ghana revoking the licenses of over 300 microfinance institutions. So, Philip, he's expressing concern about investor funds that would be lost as a result of this cleanup exercise. But we've also heard the Bank of Ghana say in their statement this afternoon that they are really conscious about depositors' funds and protecting it for that matter. Does JoyNews, does he have any legitimate concern?
Yes, his concerns are very legitimate. And at the core of any financial sector cleanup or reform is the depositors' fund. That's what generally runs these institutions. Okay, initially we have shareholders or investors putting in these funds, but at the end of it, it's the customers' funds or the depositors' funds that run these institutions. So in any cleanup or any reform, it's critical and important that these depositors, that you and I, our friends, our family, mums and dads, have their funds safe. And I'm sure that's why the Bank of Ghana, in line with the Banks and Specialized Deposit-Taking Institutions Act, has appointed Mr. Rick Nipa as the receiver to ensure that there's an orderliness. But bear in mind that with the banking sector cleanup, there were some delays in the funds that were supposed to be realized in the receivership process. So we shouldn't expect the funds to come quickly, I must say, in my opinion again, but it should come with some time. If the process is followed through largely with some neatness, then all things being equal, we should have customers' funds in their hands in the long run, and it will achieve Bank of Ghana's purpose of having stability and confidence in the financial sector, as it is a sector that is based largely on trust and faith. Now, hello, Dal.
Online.com. We've got the story up there. You can go through that story and the list as well. There you go, on myjoyonline.com/business. We've got details for you on this latest action taken by the central bank. In other news tonight, GCB Bank has begun discussions with government to explore mortgage financing as part of plans to expand its operations and help offer affordable housing options to Ghanaians. The board chairman of GCB Bank, Jude Kofi Arthur, made this known at the bank's annual general meeting. And according to the board chairman, this is to help address the country's mounting housing deficit.
According to the board chairman of GCB, the bank is in talks to explore financing options for potential homeowners. It is said that government will have to construct up to 200,000 units a year for the next 10 years to be able to bridge the housing deficit of 2 million house units. Speaking to Joy Business, the board chair of GCB said this presented an opportunity for banks.
There's a serious housing deficit, and the real reason of the housing deficit is because there isn't proper funds mobilization that meets mortgage requirements, So we as a large bank with some resources, we feel that it is an area that we should go into, because you see, people gravitate towards where they need. Lots of people need mortgages and so on to fund houses. So we are now looking at it stage by stage in terms of with state housing. The papers are yet to get to the board, but management has been given the mandate to explore those issues, because you see, these are the intermediations within any good economy that bring welfare to the people.
The board chairman was speaking at the bank's annual general meeting, which saw the bank declare dividend of 30 pesos per share. This follows a 35.6% jump in annual profits over the previous year. Jude Kofi Arthur also noted the bank will be going heavy on e-banking in the future.
In 2017, our profit dropped because of the issues of the sale and assumption and the difficulties of assimilating two banks into GCB. Now, right from that, we set up our business plan, our 4-year strategic plan, which aimed at, one, consolidating our existing gains and making a foray into the unbanked sector to make sure that we can leverage on our existing platforms and make investments that will bring in the money of the unbanked sector profitably into the banking sector. So that in itself is going to build a foundation for our deposit base. Some time ago we could rely on the fact that we had just 187 branches. How many of you go to your branches these days? You go to ATMs, you go to things, you do e-money, you do that. So these are some of the things that we are focusing on to make sure that we can continue to retain a larger share of the money movement within the whole economy.
The bank's transformation through digitization is part of the bank's strategy to accelerate growth. For Joy Business, Sheila Tamaklo reporting.
Let's turn to health matters now. An wholly Ghanaian manufacturer of medical infusions in the country, Intravenous Infusions, is to petition government against importation of fake infusion bottles. The company says it has observed some products have made their way into major hospitals in the country. Managing director of the company, David Kluche, complained at the stock exchange when the company took its turn at the facts behind the figures session. He expressed worry the situation is having a negative impact on local manufacturers. Intravenous Infusion Limited, the only Ghanaian manufacturer of medical infusion products, has been operating below capacity for some time now due to stiff competition it is facing from foreign products. The company says it has the capacity to produce to meet demand of the Ghanaian market in the entire West African sub-region. Managing Director David Kluche, after meeting investors and shareholders at the Facts Behind the Figures session, disclosed that the situation will eventually collapse the Ghanaian brand.
Why do you want it here when we can produce the products here in Ghana? That is our point. Well, our point is not about somebody else's product. We are saying that we have the capacity here to produce these products in Ghana, and we have been doing this since 1974. Right? Yes, there were challenges along the path, but we have expanded, and we are even expanding more. The back end of after the IPO, the monies that were raised, they used it to expand the factory, and now we have taken even additional more money to expand the factory again. So we have the capacity here. So we are appealing to government that we should all work together, and for the sake of the unemployment situation we have in the country, to engage with the Ministry of Health and the local FDA, so that we can have infusions listed on the restricted product list. The restricted product list is a list that FDA have got, which means that you cannot bring that product, import it into the country as a finished product.
David Kluche confirmed the company has received an offer of about $4.2 million from government as stimulus package as part of the industrialization drive. He explains what the funds will be used for.
It will expand the plant, which will then be able to serve the local market in West Africa. Yes, it will serve the local market in West Africa. The board to consider, but that has not been decided. The board have stressed that we are a Ghanaian-based company, and that we want to operate from here and then to our spring to other West African countries. Yes.
Meanwhile, the company is requesting government to add infusion materials on the restricted list by the Food and Drugs Authority in order to prevent heavy importation. All right, let's turn attention to the Joy Business Health and Wellness Trade Show, which is underway at the National Theatre, and some news coming from there. Now, Ghana has over the years recorded high pregnancy rates when it comes to the use of assisted reproductive technology as compared to other countries. Now, there's no doubt that one of the major nightmares that most couples in Ghana face has been infertility. Now, these issues came up at the Health and Wellness Trade Show at the National Theatre. Dr. Edem Hiaji is CEO and Medical Director of Lister Hospital. He's also President of the Ghana Fertility Society. Listen to what he said earlier today.
It is less and less invasive today than it was when the first IVF baby was being made. In the beginning, they had to go and do an operation and go to the ovary to try and get eggs from there. But today, with the development of ultrasound, you don't need to do an operation to get eggs from the woman. Fortunately, because drugs have been developed, which you can give the woman to produce more eggs, as the eggs grow, you can see them on a scan, and you can see them growing and growing until they are matured. Over the years, the studies and research has shown what kind of size the follicle would be for you to have a matured egg in it, because you don't really see the eggs on the scan, but you see follicles. Follicles are the fluid in which the eggs develop in the ovary. They are usually very, very small. You can't even see them when there's no egg developing. But then ultrasound has also improved over the years. There are now very high resolution ultrasound that you can see follicles in an unstimulated ovary. So
all right, so let's join Karen Dodu, who is at the National Theatre. So day 2 is almost over. Karen, run us through what has been taking place today and what to expect for the rest of the day.
Like you said, day 2 has ended, and it was quite exciting today because it was all around fertility talk and reproductive health, and people came there and they didn't leave the same. They learned a lot, and some interesting points came up from the forum. But aside that, some patrons who visited were quite excited because it was a learning experience as well for them, and they got to buy other products on display. So that's a summary of what really happened today, Daryl. But the day has not ended. There's going to be a happy hour.
Wow.
And there's going to be music, dance, and some comedy as well. We're expecting Ruben and Langabell also there. There are some Saturday weekend TV shows. So if you're going home from work, this is a very, very, very good time to unwind and relax.
Absolutely.
from the Joy Business Health and Wellness Trade Show.
Absolutely. And it continues day 3 tomorrow. It's a weekend, so you don't have any excuse not to be there. So tomorrow we are beginning at 6 a.m. with aerobics, Karen.
Yes, aerobics tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. So it will all be expected there at the National Theatre. But I'll just go ahead to do some exercise to get the day started, Darryl.
So, all right. So after the aerobics, we have the power breakfast. And, oh, yes, I should include that the Dansman Cafe Club is going to help us with those exercises that we need to do tomorrow morning. I'm going to be there. As I've indicated, I have to burn some fat, so I'm going to do that. And afterwards, we'll have a power breakfast, and the fair continues. The exhibition is still ongoing. Interesting products. Tell us about the products you have seen these 2 days that you've been there.
So there's this interesting one. It's called it's more like a reproductive health service. It's called a walking egg technology. I don't want to really
walking egg technology.
Walking egg technology. So it's for people who want to increase the chances of having babies. So there's that there. I was surprised to know that we don't just have dieters for people who want to, people who don't want to visit their washroom frequently. We have pants. Not that actual pants for men and women. So that's another interesting thing I discovered today, Darryl.
All right, Karen Dudu, thanks for bringing us up to speed. So remember, tomorrow 6 a.m. aerobics, the Dansman Cafe Club is going to be helping us do some exercises 6 a.m. And then we continue with the power breakfast, and the exhibition continues, and so much fun after that. Thanks for watching Business Live tonight. My name is Darryl Kwao. We will be back same time next week. Till then, see you tomorrow at the National Theatre.